Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
We have a new warning for parents tonight. Do you know what exactly is in the cereal and granola bars you're feeding your kids? A new report claims harmful levels of weed killer linked to cancer are showing up in foods marketed to children. The research found amounts of glyphosate in oats, granolas, and snack bars. Glyphosate is the active ingredient in Monsanto's Roundup and is the most widely used herbicide in the country. According to the International Agency for Research on Cancer, the herbicide has additional chemical ingredients that are probably carcinogenic to humans. Scott Faber with the Environmental Working Group says people probably don't even know exactly how much glyphosate they're consuming.
We're very concerned that consumers are eating more glyphosate than they know.
Some of the products impacted are Quaker old-fashioned oats, Cheerios, Quaker dinosaur egg instant oats, Great Value instant oats, to name just a few. We will have much more on this story tonight on Valley News Live at 9 on Fargo CW and Valley News Live at 10. A Fargo man says he's tired of waiting on a very precious memorial to honor his son. His son died almost 3 years ago. The memorial is a tombstone. He says it's paid for, and after a year, he still doesn't have it. So he called our whistleblower hotline. But this story might just have the happy ending you're looking for. Valley News Team's Melanie Palmer has his story.
I just want my soul.
Mike's son died in 2015. Mike asked us not to use his last name. He has a memorial for his son at the Riverside Cemetery in Fargo.
This part here was separate, and this was separate.
And while there is a marker and cross here, it's the headstone that is still missing. Mike says he ordered the headstone from Memorials and Custom Stone Creations in Fargo last year. It cost him about $2,000, and he simply wants to know where it is.
I can't get him to answer the phone. I said, I've been trying for months.
Most commonly, from the time the order is placed with the drawing approval till the time it's installed is going to be anywhere from about 8 to 10 weeks for something that's in stock.
Dustin Anderson works with Dakota Monument. His family has been in the business for a long time, and he says a full year is a little too long to wait for a tombstone. In fact, he tells us 6 months is even pushing it.
Well, it does take a bit of time for the process, but a year does seem, if the customer has done everything that they need to do on their end, a year does seem above average.
A point that is obvious to Mike. So we started investigating and made some calls to the business. After we made these calls, Mike heard back from the manager just a couple hours later. And he tells us the manager says the tombstone should be there by the end of this week. Then we got a call back from the manager ourselves. And he tells us he's had some messages from other customers waiting on their orders who didn't sound too happy. But he claims all the delays can be blamed on a truck that was out of commission, making it hard to transport larger monuments. And you can bet we'll be checking in at the end of the week to make sure the tombstone Mike has been waiting on is in its rightful place. Andrea?
All right, thank you, Melanie. The manager at Memorials and Custom Stone Creations also tells us Mike hasn't officially okayed the drawings. And he says he plans on getting all the ordered monuments done within the next month, now that the truck is fixed. Both businesses we talked to also say if certain stones need to be ordered from other countries, the project can take a little longer. As Melanie said, we will be keeping an eye out for the tombstone, and we'll bring you a follow-up story when it's completed. And if you need help with a serious issue in your community, call our whistleblower hotline. The phone number is right there on your screen, 237-6576, and leave your tip. We'll do our best to get to the bottom of it. A construction worker who was brought to a hospital after his foot was accidentally run over by a skid steer. It happened at Discovery Middle School around 1:40 this afternoon. Fargo police say the person operating a construction vehicle and the person hurt were both contracted workers for the remodeling project at the school. There's no word yet on the current condition of the person who was run over. Our temps are inching back up to where they should be this time of year, and that's making backyard barbecues much more pleasant. Hutch is at one right now in West Fargo. It sounds like we're getting ready for another hot stretch. Hutch?
Yes, we are definitely expecting a warm-up, but tonight's absolutely perfect outdoors. We have crystal clear skies. We found some shade, the shelters from the sun here in West Fargo, and no matter where you are across the valley, conditions are pretty favorable for any outdoor activities you may have in mind. Let's get to the numbers right now. So we take a look at temperatures. We're near 80 here in the valley. It is warmest in the northern valley, where we have some low 80s up there. A lot of 70s through Lakes Country with fairly light winds and sunny skies. Not much to show on the radar in our neck of the woods. In fact, everything suppressed well to the south into parts of southern South Dakota for tonight. Thunder and lightning will move through the Sioux Falls area with heavy rain. So a dry Wednesday evening in the planner for you, with temperatures that will slip into the 60s as we go through the evening. It looks clear with a chance for some patchy fog as we go through the overnight. Now I am joined by Mary Sikowski, this week's winner of the Cashwise Backyard Barbecue. Here's the tricky question. Where did you go to sign up to win?
The 32nd Avenue South, Cashwise.
Very good. Now, all your invitees here, did they bring their appetite?
I hope so, yes.
Very good. And steaks sound good? All right, yeah, that's an affirmative. And then where in the store did you go to sign up?
Back in the meat department.
In the meat department. Okay, there are a couple of weeks left of Cashwise Backyard Barbecues, but we encourage you to get into the store, go to the meat department, sign up, because whether we show up in your backyard or not, you will be entered in that last drawing of the season for the Weber Grill that's given away there. So we'll check back in a little bit, but right now we're just getting started on a beautiful Wednesday evening here in West Fargo.
All right, thank you, Hutch. Minnesota State Patrol says one person is dead after a semi crossed the median on I-94 between Maple Grove and Rogers. It happened just before 6:30 this morning in the eastbound lanes. In a post on Twitter, the State Patrol said the westbound semi crossed the median and veered into the eastbound lanes, hitting 4 vehicles. One person was declared dead at the scene. Another was airlifted to North Memorial with critical injuries. The conditions of the other 2 drivers are unknown. The cause of the massive 911 outage from 2 weeks ago is said to have been human error. CenturyLink says that an employee of West Safety Services made a mistake while making a network configuration change. This error prevented 911 calls from being accepted in Minnesota, North Dakota, and North Carolina. Officials say 693 calls to more than 50 Minnesota 911 dispatch centers failed to be routed during the outage. During that same time, 356 calls to 911 were successfully routed to Minnesota 911 dispatch centers through a redundant router. Fargo police are looking for 2 suspects who may be connected to a recent burglary. Last Friday, Fargo police took a report of a burglary at an underground parking garage in the 5300 block of 27th Street South. Police say 2 men can be seen inside the garage on the security video. If you know who these men are in the attached pictures, police ask you to call the number on your screen, 241-1405. Also, Fargo police need your help identifying these 3 men. They want to talk to these men in connection with an assault that happened on July 28th in downtown Fargo. Police say that situation involved a man who punched another man after an argument. The victim was hurt but was expected to be okay. If you have any information, please call Fargo police. Here's that number again, 241-1405. An apartment in Grand Forks was evacuated last night after calls were made to police saying that a suicidal man inside the building was carrying knives. Valley News Team's Maddie Gelseth went to the apartment complex and talked to tenants who say the situation was scary.
I was feeling very anxious. I didn't know what to do.
Anxious and scared were the words tenants used while they were asked to leave their apartment Tuesday evening.
I think anytime you knock on a door and tell someone they should leave their home in the interest of safety, I would imagine there's going to be some concern, but our officers communicate pretty clearly with them that it's a precautionary thing. We'll get you back home as quickly as we can.
Lieutenant Zimmel says the police department evacuates buildings whenever there's an incident that involves a weapon.
Ultimately, public safety is the deciding factor.
Ness, along with his roommate Sean Peterson, says they're grateful for the work the police department does, and they still love living in Grand Forks.
I guess stuff like this knows no zip code, and I still think it's excellent to live here.
Tenants who were asked to leave their home were let back in about an hour and a half after this incident started. No one was injured during this event, and the suicidal subject voluntarily went to the hospital. Reporting for Valley News Live, I'm Eddie Jolseth.
If you or someone you know feels suicidal, you can call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at this phone number, 1-800-273-8255. Grand Forks is doing a lot of mill and overlay construction projects on their roadways. Some of these projects include Cherry Street, North and South 20th Streets, Washington Street, and more. The city is also doing major reconstruction projects on North 42nd Street.
Winter's tough on the roads here. They get beat up, and if you start missing on your maintenance a little bit on not so much our maintenance, but just some of these mill and overlays, then it can go downhill pretty quick.
The increase of sales tax in Grand Forks, along with state, local, and federal funds, are helping pay for these projects. The projects cost a total of $13,700. If you're getting ready to hit the stores for back-to-school shopping, there are some trends you may want to look for. This year, kids, teenagers, and even college students are sporting a leisure look, like comfy graphic tees and leggings. Adidas and Nike are also back this year, from the Just Do It shirts to shoes. Flannels are also making a comeback, pairing them with either a graphic t-shirt or tied around a waist. Another style this year, adding pops of color to your wardrobe by either wearing a bright shoe or a bright hair accessory.